I'm so mega excited right now. So here it is, my new machine. It's the Brother V5, so thank you to Brother Sewing UK. It's quite exciting because I know what's inside and I can't wait to play. Grab this one first. Let's handle with care. Okay, let's do that then. Here we go. Now this is the embroidery unit, and there's one of my hoops. There's the second hoop. Right, that's actually quite a big hoop. That's 18 by 30 centimetres. Roughly in inches, I'm not sure. We'll measure it and find out. Let's have a look at this amazing sized unit. There we go. So that's the beast that we will be playing with. Take off the packaging. We'll put this to one side while we get the machine out. And this is going to be the machine. So here we have got the cover. Now that cover I know is not going on over the embroidery unit, so we'll just leave it to the side for a minute and let's just see what we have here. Nice and carefully. So we've got our bag of accessories, embroidery foot, quilting foot, and a few bobbin holders. We've got our knee lift. We're moving these two bits in here, and I can feel there are additional bits, so I think that's the extension box. So that's my extension unit for when I decide to use the machine just as a sewing machine. And if I look in here, there's a selection of feet in there and a seam ripper. And actually, because it's the more expensive range, the buttonhole foot is actually made of metal instead of plastic. There we go. And beast of a machine. It's 11¼ inches throat, and I have got so much planned for this baby. Let's go and play. Okay, so let's grab the stylus. Now let's set this up for our first use. So select language, English. It's quite loud, so we can adjust the setting for the volume as well. Set the clock. So at the moment,
it's 5:11. Good evening.
So we're in 2019, and it is the 3rd month, and we are on Friday the 8th of March, and
it's 5:11.
Nikki's told us it's 17:11, and I'm going to set it at 12. Change it to PM, so or 24 hours. Let's put it at PM. Close that, and that's the machine set. So we've got the options of sewing, embroidery, and embroidery edit. When we go into sewing, it brings up the screen and set up for using this sewing machine as a sewing machine. If we go back pressing home, we've got the embroidery option, and we have all the preset designs in there. We can connect our machine to the computer. We can add a USB stick, telling me we haven't got a USB stick in there. And we can use that cable earlier that we found and connect it directly to our computer or laptop. At the moment we are using this sewing machine, so let's go back to home and we're going to go into sewing. We've got lots of different and exciting features on there. We have a pivot function. Now when you're dressmaking or quilting and you want to turn corners, you can have the pivot set up so that when you stop sewing, the foot lifts up. We can set it to automatically reverse at the end of our stitching. We just have to make sure we tap the reverse. And we've got the automatic scissors. That means it cuts for us when we finish, and you will tap the reverse button there. When you tap the reverse button, it will do the lock stitch at the end, whichever stitch, lock stitch or reverse stitch that you've decided, and it will cut it for you. We switch those off. The other options you've got here is free motion embroidery. Did you see what happened there? When we set it on free motion embroidery, the feed dogs drop. I've not got to faff around looking for the feed dogs at the back of the machine. When I choose that, it mirrors whichever stitch that I've chosen. So if I choose, let's go for the stipple design. So if we choose that, we can mirror for the stipple to go the other way. We can extend the width. Let's extend the width. Sorry, the length. Look at that. We're learning as we go. Right, so we can do that. If we tap on a different stitch and go back, it will automatically default back to the stitch that's preset in the machine. You can actually save this into the memory. So if I do change the length, I can actually put it into memory. So pop it into there and it's saved. If we close that and try a different stitch, go back. If we go into our memory, retrieve, there's our design that's set. Retrieve that, and there we go. It's such a fantastic and so intuitive. I've not used this machine very often. I have at shows and had a play, but I've not been able to play fully with it. And it's so simple and intuitive. Remember I told you about the speed at 1050 stitches per minute? Well, if you're a bit frightened and wary of going at that speed, you've also got this speed control. You can actually change the use of that speed control to width control. So you can, if you're quilting or maybe putting zips in or wanting to do some piping, whenever you need to adjust your needle, if you're doing a project that involves of moving the needle a lot, you can adjust that to work with your needle. Again, that pivot function there is on there. If you want to choose that pivot function at that point, it will work for you. So that's our press the foot up and press the foot down. That's our automatic scissor. I've not got thread in there, but you can hear it cut. And it's so quiet compared to my 420. I've got my needle up and needle down, my lock stitches and my reverse stitch. This is the button I really want you to see. So in order for me to show you the exciting feature of this, I'm going to have to thread up the machine. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's fill up the bobbin. So I have a bobbin. They're 11.5 millimeters if you want to know which size to buy. Let's pop our thread into the bobbin winding system and use the right spool cap there. So you have 3 sizes there. So whichever size thread reel you're using, use the right cap for that. Now just go through the guide around the tension disc there. And then what I will do is I will wind round 4 times, maybe 5, and then there's a knife just there. Now, usually you move your bobbin over, but actually we're just going to move the guide towards the bobbin. And we don't press on there, we press on the screen. So have a look on the screen there. And we've got different speeds, and just press start. And listen to that, absolutely quiet, purrs like a baby sleeping. Does that sound right? I'm going to fill that up, and that's going remarkably fast. So again, at 1050 stitches per minute, and for that speed I can see no movement, and it's filled my bobbin up for me and automatically stopped. We can just use the cutting system on the bobbin mechanism there to cut the thread. There we go. So just pop it into the machine. So let's pop bobbin into the machine, go round system, and that's done. As easy as that. It's such a beautiful machine. Let's take this off. I'm going to leave that spool cap there and ready for the next time we want to use it. Let's pop our thread into the threading system. Let's follow the system round. Really easy. I think they call it the 7-step guide. And then just go through the pincers there and cut the thread. Once you've cut the thread, after you've threaded it up, let's do a close-up. So once you thread up the machine, you just tap this button and that's your thread in the needle. I just need to pull it from the back and it's done. And with the bobbin system as it is, I don't actually have to draw up that thread and it's there ready to sew. Beautiful. Right, let's close that. There's a magnetic closure.